everybody, Alex here from Expert Forex, and in today's video we're going to be looking at 3 ways to backtest your Forex trading strategies using the MT4 platform. Now the 3 ways are, firstly you can use the F12 method, which I'll show you in detail. Then you can use the visual indicator method using the strategy tester approach, and then you can use the visual EA testing method using the strategy tester approach. So we're going to be looking at all 3 those methods. Now there are other methods such as optimization, but I'm going to be focusing on visual methods at this stage. So before we look at these methods, let's look at backtesting in general. Backtesting is a way of using real historic data to test your Forex trading strategies. So it allows you to practice them before you start trading in the live Forex market. So that's what backtesting is all about. And if you do not do backtesting, it's like soldiers going into war without any training, people being allowed to drive without licenses, and your pilot flying with no experience whatsoever. And then doctors being able to operate with no training. It's a bad thing to even think of trading an expert advisor or any Forex technique without backtesting them. So what are the advantages of backtesting? Firstly, you experience the technique in action. You see it in action. You can test the techniques in a risk-free environment. There's no risk using historical data. You can make improvements to the technique. You can get yourself fit for live trading. Very important. The mistakes people make in live trading is because they haven't done any backtesting. Master the technical aspects of trading. You can increase your confidence in trading. In fact, that is the biggest benefit of backtesting, is that if you do it properly, you come out like a boxer going into a prize fight. You just are so ready to trade. Your confidence levels are sky high. Opposed to the average person who says, oh, I wonder if this deal's going to go positive. You don't have that feeling whatsoever. You have a feeling that you know that your deals, if you do 10 deals, you're going to get 7 successes, because that is what you've achieved in your backtesting. And you then discover techniques that you like and that you don't like. Some techniques work, but you don't like them. Others also work, but you just love them. That's what happens with backtesting. And there are many more benefits that you will experience once you're trading live. You will look back and you say, my goodness, I'm so pleased that I did this backtesting. Now, we all like seeing these fantastic golfers who play these perfect golf shots all the time, but we forget that these guys have been on the practice tee and hit thousands and thousands and thousands of balls to perfect their technique. Now that is the same as backtesting. That's practicing your technique before you go and apply it in a live environment. Okay, let's look at the first technique, which I call the F12 technique. And now here I have a chart. Now obviously what you need to do is you need to choose the currency that you want to trade, the time frame you want to trade, and the indicators or the technique that you want to test. So here I'm going to be testing the RSI technique. Not going to go into it in a lot of detail, but it's important that you see how this is done. So the first thing that I do is I disable the scroll function and the shift function. So what that does, it pushes the chart into the right hand corner of the screen. Then I press the home key on my keyboard. And what that will do is it will take you back, right back into the chart, into unknown territory. In other words, this price action you're seeing here is unknown territory. You wouldn't have seen it before, and there you are. Now, as you can see, the chart is right against the right-hand side. You don't know what's coming. This is what happens in real life. You don't know what's coming next. And you can now start applying your trading technique in this environment. And the whole idea is that you consistently ask yourself, what will I do now? What will I do now? What will I do now? So I'm going to just press F12, the F12 function. And what that does, it moves the chart one candle forward every time I press that F12. Now, let's say I am trading the trend line violation system. So I can already say, all right, when the RSI crosses that line, I want to go into a sell. So you press the F12, you press the F12, press it again. No, nothing happening. It's okay. So there it violates the trend line that I was talking about. There's two big waves, and that is a potential sell transaction. So the type of thing that you can do now is you can say, all right, I'm going to place my stop there. I'm going to enter right now on the close of the candle, and I'm going to go for, let's say, the support at the bottom there. All right, not a great risk-return ratio, but anyway, you get the idea of how you do this. That's the most important thing. You then press F12, and you see if you were successful in your deal. So clearly this one missed the target. Oh, there we are. Okay, so it hit the target. So that's the type of thing that you do, and then you just go F12 until you get your next trade, and so on. But the idea here is just to show you the concept. So it's very easy. You just disable those two buttons, the scroll and the shift button, and then you press home, and you just trade as I've just shown you, back trade. And what that will do, it will tell you whether you're putting your stops in the right places. Clearly I haven't put the target in the right place, but that's the kind of information that you can do. And you can obviously go back and wipe all of this out, and then go back and start again and say, all right, where did I make my mistakes, and so on. And by doing that, you start teaching yourself the correct place to put stops, the correct place to put targets, how to identify entries, and that type of thing. So that's the F12 method. So let's have a look at another method. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into View, Strategy Tester, and I'm going to test the same indicator, the RSI. So I click on Indicator. There's the RSI is loaded, and I'm going to test it over this period. So I've set a period to test, and you can see I've gone right back to the 1st of January 2017. So I've got a random starting point. I don't know what the chart looked like then, and I'm going to then test so then I click on the indicator. I put the RSI reading that I want to put in, and I say OK. And then the big thing here is you click on the visual mode, and what you do is there's a shift here. You shift it right to the left because you don't want it to move too fast when it starts. And what I like is I like using open prices. You should be using every tick, but open prices move a little bit faster. Every tick is very slow. So you now set up to have a visual experience of the RSI indicator trading from the 1st of January 2017, and I'm going to just hit start. So what it then does, it goes away and it finds the chart. Now there's our RSI indicator, and that is the same one that you saw earlier, and unfortunately it has already made a trade there because that's the traditional RSI trade that you would have made. So what you can now say is, all right, well, that's it. Let me see. I would have traded most probably on the violation of the trend line. By the way, you can't do that on the. There we are. I would have traded on the close of that candle. And so you're playing games. You're saying, oh, what would I have done? What would I have done? Okay, this isn't so great because you can actually see the other candles. So I'm starting a little bit prematurely, but you can actually go to the next. We will go to the next signal, and that'll be a bit. All right, now I want to put my stop just below the previous low. I want to enter there, and maybe I'm not going to go too far. There seems to be a bit of a resistance area right there, so that's, oops, all right, so this one is actually already hit the resistance, so we can't really use it. So that's where I would have put my target. Okay, so all right, that's too late, so let's just move on. Now, how do you move on? You move this little scroll bar, you just move it on, and it will slowly update the chart. And if it's going too slowly, you just move it on a little bit more. And now we're looking for our next signal. So our next signal comes round about if that trend line gets violated. Let's see. Now this it is moving slow. I'm on purpose. All right. So there's a violation. You stop it. You actually stop it right there. You say, all right, I wanted to violate. I wanted to enter this trade on the violation of that trend line. Now you can see the problem with this one is monitoring the speed. You need a bit of practice with that, but you would have entered on the close of the candle, and you would have put your stop loss probably at the previous high, and you would have found maybe a level over here that you want to target. So what you would do is you'd say, all right, let's see how this trade works out. Let's see how good this particular signal is. And you can see it's ticking away. If you wanted to go faster, you just increase the speed a little bit. And there we go. Let's see what happens with this deal. All right, there we are. So this would have been a successful deal. We now start setting up for our next trade, and there's a potential one, and so on and so on. So when it violates, there we are. That's a potential trade. I'll just... Okay, so the next way of doing backtesting is backtesting an EA in visual mode. I'm going to show you that too. So all we do is we go expert advisor, and I have an expert advisor called the tradable RSI. There's a whole lot of them there that we have, and I load the tradable RSI. I load the same currency. And I'll use open prices because that also goes a lot faster. It does make it a little bit uncontrollable though. Maybe I'll just use every tick for this particular exercise. And then you go in and you set the settings that you want to set, and you then say okay. Now this is quite an important thing about trading expert advisors. You have to see what they do. So I'm going to start the test, and I've got visual right to the side there. So we start the test. It does that thing of updating, and it's collecting all the history, and there it's starting, and there the EA is loaded and it's ready to run. So it is in fact running, but because it's on every tick, it is very slow. So I'm going to increase the speed considerably. There we are. Now you can see the every tick basis being run, but it's still very slow. And now I've increased it to the full throttle on this one, and you can see the trading happening. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slow down completely. It's activated a sell there, but as you can see, unfortunately what this does, it doesn't load the indicator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually load the RSI indicator, relative strength, but that looks good. It's black, so I'll use a yellow, and we'll load that. All right, there we are. Why it went into a sell there was because one of the signals is that it has to go overbought and then come back and cross the 80 line, and you can vary these things in the EA, and that's the whole part of this testing. You see the previous signal would have been a good one. It went over, sold, and went over. So that was a nice little run there, and now it's done the same thing. So you can actually see the EA acting out the instructions that you have given it. You said, I've told this EA, I want to trade when the RSI cuts back over the 80 line. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go forward, and let's see what happens. And it immediately is saying, all right, there's the target for this particular transaction. So it's trading away. Okay, there it's made it the same signal. You can see it's gone over and has now crossed over. Now, if you know anything about divergences, it's made a divergence now, so those two signals are a lot better. But it has also at the same time created a buy signal there because it's gone oversold and moved over. So, but then, and I'll stop all of this because there's a lot happening. Then in the meantime, the sales were cancelled out, were cashed in positively. You can see there's the profit made on those particular sales, and the buy is still active. But again, this is a way of testing, of back trading your EAs. And then the question here is, do you want to open two cells? Now, you know, that's the kind of question. Or do you want to allow 4 or 5 cells? Do you want to allow hedging, for instance? There's a buy and a sell. You know, you can start adjusting your EA so that it doesn't open too many open trades, or it doesn't hedge, or those kind of things. You can now look at it and say, hey, I'm not happy with what I'm seeing here, because this is not what I had in mind. I only want 1 cell to activate. I don't want 2 cells to activate, because if this goes up like that, I'll just have hundreds of cells that activate and I'll be in trouble. So, you know, that kind of thing. Also, what happens here, there's no stop on these transactions. So you say, oh no, I don't like the fact that there's no stop. I want to stop over here somewhere or whatever. And then you can change your settings and run them and see, literally see, if the EA is trading the way you want to and is profitable. If we look down here, at the moment this EA is nicely profitable. The equity is nicely profitable. So again, I won't go any further with this. I think you get the feel of the way of using these 3 techniques, and the visual techniques are really good because it makes you understand what you're doing, and whether it's an EA that you're testing, whether it's an indicator that you're testing, or whether it's a complete forex trading technique which includes support and resistance and all kinds of other things. So these are the 3 ways that you can test that you can use MetaTrader for to test your strategies. So that concludes the message that I wanted to give in this particular video. I think I've shown you 3 ways that you can use MT4 to test your strategies. You can see some of them are clunky, but others are actually fantastic. If you've never done backtesting, it's better to do it this way than not to do it at all. Now, for manual trading and indicator testing, we no longer use MT4 as a testing process. We actually have software called the Forex Tester number 3. I'm a partner in that particular offering, and if you use this particular link, the clickable link will be in the description of the video. If you use that, you will get preferential pricing on the Forex Tester. Now, what the Forex Tester does, it is a copy of MT4. So what makes it better is that you can actually enter the trades live. You can actually trade it as if you're trading live. You can enter the trades, not like I drew lines before. You can actually enter the trades. I want my stop there, my target there. You can put a following stop in. You can do all those things. So it is simulating live trading in a bigger way. There is a free trial, so you can download your free trial, and this special offer is only available to my clients if you go to this particular website. If you go to Forex Tester directly, you will be paying a premium price. So from me, Alex Deploy, I hope I've given you some ideas on how you can improve your Forex trading results by backtesting them thoroughly before using them. And as I said earlier, I have focused on visual backtesting in this particular video. There are other ways of backtesting. For instance, EAs, you can do an optimization process and things like that. But this is where you actually squeeze the most benefit for your own Forex trading. So from me, Alex Deploy, cheerio.